Okay, welcome back everybody. I'm going to show you how to turn these pencil flats into finished inked flats. So what we need now is our Micron pens. Let's just test them out and make sure we've got them going the way we want. Okay, this is my dead one. I need to just throw it away. I don't know why I put it back in my pen jar. That's silly of me. Okay, there's my 05. Here's my 02. Okay, and then here's my tiny little delicate 005. So first thing I would do is use each of these 3 pens and make sure that you can get a different line weight for each. Now you might have to change your hand pressure slightly. I do press a little harder with my 05, and I do press a little lighter with my 005, which is actually good. We want to be a little careful with this little guy because he's a little delicate. This little nib can bend easily, so don't press too hard with this one. All right, next we're going to take our, oh gosh, do I have a light box in this room? Hold on, I'm going to pause. Okay, I found my light box. It was in my other classroom. I had to go hunting, but I found it. I have this tiny little light box that I bought on Amazon for, gosh, I don't think much more than $10, if that. And this trusty little thing has actually served me really well. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the skirt first. Now, a lot of students like to put a tiny piece of blue tape on here to hold these 2 papers together so they don't move. I'll go ahead and do that. If you have the large marker paper and you want to cut it smaller to do this, you certainly can. And I have this additional just small pad of marker paper that I use just for flats. The big paper, you do need it for our illustrations, which are coming, probably not for just a little longer, next week most likely. But today we're just doing the flats, and they're tiny, so you don't need a ton of marker paper. Okay, so here are the rules. Are you ready? When we do our flats, we are going to use our 05 pen for the silhouette and the silhouette only. This is the only place we put the 05 pen line. Okay. Oh gosh, you guys, guess what I'm doing? Let me pause before I get too far along. Do you see it? I flipped my tracing paper by accident. That happens so frequently that when you go back and forth and you erase, so be careful about that. For a symmetrical garment, it wouldn't matter, but because I drew the vent on this little guy, it does matter here. So let me retape myself. Okay, that should do it. Okay, back to this. So my 05 line is for only the silhouette. Now, do your best here. You're going to see me rotating my paper constantly because my hand doesn't draw a smooth line unless I go in a certain direction. So I know that about myself, and I just move the paper to accommodate as needed. There we go. So I'm going to rotate my paper, and I'll go ahead and get this side of the skirt. And hopefully everybody was able to get a light box. If you don't have one yet, you can find them for pretty inexpensive right now. If you're going to try to make do without one, you might try to use a tablet or something and turn the brightness all the way up and freeze the screen. I'll do the little zipper pull too. And then I'll come down here and I'll get the bottom edge. Now, it's very common that we can't get all the way across in one smooth movement. So what you're going to want to do is practice starting and stopping. I always recommend to students that if they're struggling with that, just try drawing a line, stopping, and picking up again, and practice until you can do that almost invisibly. I've tried sort of flicking up and overlapping the flick. I don't have a good success with that. Instead, I just stop solid and move on, do my next one next to it, and I can usually get a pretty good result. Now, this is going to take practice, guys. This is going to take a little practice. The first time you do this, you're going to feel like you're wobbly, your hand is shaky, you're not happy with it, because they do look really beautiful, and it's very satisfying when they're done neatly and by hand. Again, at some point in the near future, I hope you all learn to do these in Adobe Illustrator. Oop, I wobbled a little bit right there. In Adobe Illustrator, it'll be really easy for you to learn now that you understand the concepts of flats. But doing them by hand, there's something quite beautiful about it, and people really do still do them by hand. Okay, let me get this edge too. And again, the 05, it's only for the silhouette. It's only for the outermost edge. Okay, so I outlined my front and my back. Guess what? I'm done with this pen for now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my 02. We wanna use the 02 for all the seams and internal lines. So for example, I can go up the back of my back view with my 02. Right up here, all the way up to the top. And then I'll do my yoke, turning my paper as needed. Be careful you don't put your hand on wet ink. Okay, and then I can get my style lines on the back view. And let me rotate so I can get these ones a little more neatly. And then I'll go over to the front view and we'll see what we need to do there. Oh, I can finish this up down here. We'll just go up like this, and we'll go up like that, and we'll go up like this. Okay, and we want to be really careful that all of your lines are starting and stopping really precisely. We don't want to overshoot it, and we definitely don't want to stop short. Like for example, when I draw my waist opening right here, I don't want to stop before I get to the edge. We have to make sure that everything's connecting. Here's the front of the yoke, just like that. Let's see if I can do a side seam. It's getting to be a little late in the day to make these nice, smooth, straight, parallel lines neatly. I'm trying to channel my most precise self and make it all the way up here. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. There is a style line right there. See that? I just did it. You see how right here, if you were able to see that, I didn't quite make it all the way to the edge. Can you see it? We don't want to stop short. Make sure that everything connects to where it needs to connect. Okay, because these style lines and these seams, they go from place to place. The only times really that something's going to stop in the middle is if it's a dart, which, like we saw on the pink tank top actually, which is part of our other assignment here, is to do that pink tank top. That dart comes from the side seam. See, that's a little bit bigger than I wanted. Let's see if I can come up and join it. And you know why I did that? Because I was coming downwards, which is not how my hand likes to go. My hand likes to go upwards. So see what feels natural to you, and it will take a little practice to get familiar with this and to make your lines look nice. Now, if your hand is just a little bit wobbly in general, don't beat yourself up. That's not a problem. I actually think they look, in a way, just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, because it looks handmade. You can tell that they were done by hand. Okay, I just switched to my 005 micron, and I'm using that to do my stitching. Okay, I think I'm getting my groove back, guys. I don't want to jinx myself, but there was my understitch right there, and then let me come in here and put my little dots for my blind hem stitch. No, but I do think they look quite beautiful when they're done by hand, and you can tell that it's by hand. If it's kind of consistently, maybe just the tiniest bit wobbly. I think in this day and age, seeing something analog like this that takes time and skill to master is really, it just makes me kind of happy. So don't stress if yours don't look computer generated. They're not computer generated. Okay, let me remind myself what I did there. So I did my little edge and my little stitches. Okay, so 005 is used for all of your stitching and your super teeny little details. 02 is used for, turn my light box off and I'm going to write this down for you guys to see. Okay, so 05 equals the silhouette / outline only. Okay, we like that heavy line on the outside. It makes the flats pop. 02 is used for seams And inside, when I say inside, I mean inside the silhouette. I'm just going to say seams and details. And then 005 is used for stitching. I would do the ribbing on the blue t-shirt with the 005. Okay, and then anything else that's too tiny, you kind of have a little bit of freedom between the 005 and the 02. But in general, not in general, always, the silhouette is 05, the seams are 02, and the stitching and other fussy little stuff is 005. Okay, now there's one last thing I want to show you guys, which is that we need to take our gray marker and we are going to gray out the inside of the garment. No, my marker's dead. Hold on, I have a better one. Ah! And I just knocked a lamp on the floor. You guys, it is so time for me to go home. This is crazy. Okay, here we go. So here's my nice little gray marker, and I'm just gonna come in here and I'm gonna gray out the inside of the skirt so that it looks nice and neat, okay? And there you go. That is a finished inked flat. Now, as you guys do these, I want you to save them. You might have to do this a couple of times if you make mistakes. Oh, one more space to gray out. Let me get this little spot here. Okay, so if you make mistakes and they're really like noticeable, you're gonna wanna start over until you get it. It's all about practice to get these looking nice. Once you get them nice, do not lose these. These are actually going to go in your portfolio. I've chosen these garments to be representative of a wide variety of construction details and garment types that are important for you to be able to show people that you understand how to do those types of fashion flats. So these are super valuable to show people. Okay, there's the skirt. The other one we want to do is the tank top. And I think I have a finished one. Let me find it. I do. Okay, here's a finished tank top where you can see that I've got the little stitching in there. I've got my gray marker. There's my darts starting from the side seam and going in. So everything you did in pencil, you're just gonna go over it in pen using the correct pen for the correct place on the garment. And while I've got this up, I'll just show you, I've got a couple other flats here from other garments. We might not be doing these exact garments in class, but we'll do a handful of other garments just to make sure that we experience a lot of different types of construction in the form of these technical drawings. Okay, hope that helps. Email me if you have questions, and I hope you find this kind of satisfying. I know I do. Okay, bye.